Hi, my name is Faust, and this is the Three Musketeers strat made for Cresselia by Kairos and Roguemaster. I have myself helped a lot with testing this raid together with Kaiboboy and Yugi. It's been put a lot of thinking and testing into this raid strategy in between all of the events that has brought new updates, where the devs have decided to nerf the different strategies we've been using in previous perma raids. So with every update that has been in the game that has changed how this raid works, they have been very good at updating the forum post to optimize EVs and IVs on the different Pokemon used, also to give us more chances and choices within what Pokemon that can be used or not. To be able to access this raid for the first time, you need to make sure that you have completed OT decks and all 5 regions. These are the same criteria to exit Mount Silver if you haven't already done that. So after completing Sinnoh, you will have to meet with a professor in Sengem Town. If you're following along with the video, this is my old character going through that side quest. You unlock most of the other side quests or endgame things in Sinnoh by doing this. Once you have talked to them and gone through all the dialogue, you have to go back to Canalav City. Once you have gotten here, you go to the left side of the river and make your way down to the ferry and to Sailor Eldritch's house. Inside that house you can interact with the NPCs. These will then tell you about how the boy is hunted by nightmares and Darkrai and tell you to go to Full Moon Island. Once you have talked to a sailor and he has directed you to Full Moon Island, you will have to make your way to where the raid den is, interact with Cresselia and pick up the feather afterwards. Then you go back to the house to interact with the child again to finish the side quest. The main mechanic of this raid is Mirror Bind. This makes it so that every time you use multiple of a Pokemon, it gives them -1 attack, -1 special attack, and -2 speed per pair. So this can stack up to -3 attack and special attack and -6 speed if you have 4 of the same Pokemon. If one of the Pokemon you have multiple of with you faints, that means that all of them faint, aka if one Bisharp faint, all of the Bisharps faint. At 80% Cold Mine is used on Cresselia and its adds. At 75% you have to start alternating attack, physical and special attacks, where status moves do not interact with this. At 65% Trick Room starts, 50% you have to start alternating type damage as well, aka you have to start using Dark type and then another typing, for example Water type. And finally at 25% there will be another Calm Mind. So make sure that you have read both the forum post and the document before you start asking any questions. Most of any questions will be answered there. One of the negatives in this raid is that the stat drops will take a lot of time. Due to that, I will try to speed up the footage whenever all of this happens, so you don't have to sit and wait through all of the stat drops and increases. The first round of this strategy is mostly a setup round where we do Captivate, we fling a Poison Barb to poison it, do a Safeguard and a Lucky Chant to prevent any critical hits on our team. These Pokemon used are specifically calculated to take X amount of hits, so make sure that if you're changing any of them out, that they take the amount of hits they're supposed to and not too many or too few. Here in turn 2 is the first example we have of Mirror Bind in use. You will see all these stat drops happened. Because of the defined ability of the Bisharp, you will also see its attack being raised with every time it gets a stat drop. This is an ability we'll be using a lot to benefit of actually using the same Pokemon in multiple positions. An important note with these Bisharps is that two of them are completely alike while one of them is set a little different. This is to force the AI to choose a specific target when using its moves. If the stats are too off in this situation, you will have the AI targeting down one way too quickly and therefore not having the Bisharps left for turn 3. Turn 3 is used for a light screen where they still do a lot of damage with Sucker Punch on the Bisharps. For turn 4, P1 has a lot of options to choose between. Here we have chosen a Scyther, even though Darmanitan is the one listed in the strat for the moment. Make sure that if you want to use an alternative Pokémon in any of the positions, read the footnote to see what has already been tested and calculated. If you believe that you can change something else out, test it, calculate it, see if it can fit, and please give us feedback. This turn is used to do a little bit more damage and to make sure we get a special defense drop on Cresselia so that we can hit cap with our Gothita's next turn. As you have seen, we also got Trick Room activated this turn, meaning that the rest of the Pokemon used needs to be a specific speed to outspeed Cresselia. Turn 5 also have a lot of Defiant Pokemon. We have 2 Breviers and 2 Glythelas. These are all Defiant, again to raise the stat that they're going to use. Well, we don't really care about the other stats. The minus stat is here helping us instead because of Trick Room. From this point, it's also very important that you have checked the order of when your Pokemon will be attacking and that the speed stats are correct in comparison to your teammates. This is so we get every second physical and every second special attack. Turn 6 is where things are starting to get a little repetitive for 2 of the players. P1 Milotic will use Safeguard first turn it's out, and the second turn it will use Mudsport. You may need to make sure that you have these egg moves on your Milotic before you start leveling it. If your P1 Milotic do not have these egg moves, you might get away with using them on the P2 instead, but they more often than not have not bred this into it. A tip to when you're breeding P1 or P2 for this strategy is to always include both egg moves, so you are certain that no matter what the other player has done, you will always be able to cover these moves. We're also going to see a fling here with a poison barb again to make sure Cresselia get poisoned again, and we're going to get a lucky chant to make sure that we do not get hit by any crits, so that all of our Pokemon stay alive for as long as possible. Again, it's very important that all the speed stats are checked between the different Pokemon, except for Jinx. Jinx is using a status move here, so that does not interfere with the order of moves. So except for a few moves in between here, it's mostly going to be Assurance and Brine to damage down the rest of the Pokemon. If you have done all of it correctly so far, you will easily be able to beat Cresselia down within 10 turns. From this point on, the video is sped up ×4 just to play through the rest of the raid. It's very repetitive, as I have said, so you don't have to sit and wait for all the Brines and Assurance to go through. If there's any points of the raids that you want more information about, you can pause the video around the time and read from the battle log or read the moves that is popping up on the screen. It should still be slow enough to be able to pause on any picture that has information on it. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I am Fast. I stream regularly on Twitch if you wanna say hi. I will try to make even more raid content and other content in the near future, so please stay tuned for that. Some raid videos are already out and more will be out soon. All the information you need to prep for and finish this raid should be already in the description. If anything is missing, feel free to leave a comment so I can add it.